Let's move on to corporate bonds. Corporate bonds in the U.S. are structured like government bonds. They pay semi-annual coupons. The coupon rate and the yield to maturity are quoted on a semi-annual basis, but corporate bonds have higher yields to maturities and coupons because they have higher credit risk and they are less liquid, and so they have higher liquidity risk. The idea is that if I have to sell the bond, I'm going to take a bigger price hit to find someone to buy it on a corporate bond than I would on a government bond. The credit is measured by looking at the credit rating. Bonds that receive a credit rating of AAA to BBB are called investment grade, sometimes IG. They're also called high quality bonds. Bonds that have a BB rating to a C and then D for default are called high yield bonds or non-investment grade or junk bonds. And so high quality versus high yield. The ratings are based on a number of factors, but essentially it's the probability of payment, or 1 minus the probability of default. And this is a function of the size and stability of EBITDA relative to the amount of debt that a corporation has to pay. So interest expense. And so it's going to be interest expense divided by EBITDA and how stable and likely these are. It's also based on, not based on, this isn't the default rating, but another factor is going to be the recovery value if there is a default. So is the bond secured, or is it secured by an asset or real property? If it's secured by real property, we call it a mortgage bond. If it's not secured by a specific asset, if it's backed by the full faith and credit of the issuing entity, then the technical term is it's a debenture as opposed to a mortgage bond or a secured bond. And debentures are either senior or subordinate. And then within subordinate, you can be a senior subordinate or a subordinate. And this is going to affect where you are in terms of the waterfall if there is a default and you have to get paid back. Municipal bonds are issued by states, counties, cities, and then authorities. So, for example, the state of Colorado or Boulder County or the city of Boulder, but also the Boulder Valley School District can issue a bond. The E470 Highway Authority can issue a bond. The Left Hand Fire District can issue a bond. These are entities that are sort of these quasi-government entities that are created to allow for the issuing of municipal bonds to build infrastructure that is necessary or deemed necessary. The interesting thing about municipal bonds is that the income is tax-free to qualified holders of the bond, essentially people who live in that state. And so if I don't have to pay taxes on the income, then I'm willing to earn less income to have a sort of an equivalent yield to a taxable bond. And here's the relationship. So if a taxable bond pays 6%, I want to calculate the tax-free equivalent yield for a Muni if I have a marginal tax rate of 20%. Well, if that's the case, then if I have to pay 20% of my income in taxes, I get to keep 4.8%. So that would be the equivalent yield. I'd be willing to earn 4.8 tax-free. That would be equivalent to earning 6% taxable. But if I'm in a 40% marginal tax rate, then I would be willing to earn 3.6% tax-free to have an equivalent of 6%. And so this is very important. If I pay 20% tax and I need to earn 4.8, but you pay 40% tax, you only need to earn 3.6. And so the coupon rate is set through an auction. And so what happens is the municipality goes to an investment banker and says, we need to issue $100 million worth of Boulder Valley School District bonds. What is the amount that you need to earn? And I say I need to earn 4.8 because I pay 20% tax and I think this is equivalent to a 6% bond. You also believe it equivalent to a 6% bond, but you pay a 40% tax rate, and so therefore you're willing to earn 3.6. And so the Boulder Valley School District is going to issue the bonds not with a 4.8% coupon. They're going to issue it with a 3.6% coupon. And so therefore bonds are priced for those who pay, muni bonds are priced for those who pay the highest tax rate. And that makes sense. The more, the higher my taxes, the more valuable a tax-free income is to me.